Hey guys, welcome back to the Lawrenceville Bicentennial podcast, the show where we talk to the people that know Lawrenceville best. I'm your host, Nate McGill from Gwinnett Magazine, and today on the show we're covering all the big news happening at Northside Gwinnett here in Lawrenceville. Guys, you don't want to miss it. Check it out.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Lawrenceville Bicentennial podcast. The fun's already begun. This is the podcast where we talk to the people that know the city best. Today on the show, returning for probably the third time, Chuck Warbington, City Manager, and Jay Dennard of Northside Hospital. We're talking about all the cool stuff going on at Northside Hospital. Jay's one of the vice presidents there, and so we're excited to have you on the show today.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Guys, let's kick it off. Just to give people a reference, when you hear Northside, if you've been here for a while, you know that formerly known as Gwinnett Medical Center. My kids were born there at the hospital. I'm sure a lot of other people's kids were born there as well. Maybe you guys can kind of give me some perspective and history on the hospital when it first formed, and maybe some of the history and relationship with the city. Jay, you want to kick us off?
Sure, happy to do that. Again, it's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here.
You know, the roots of Gwinnett Hospital System actually go back to 1944.
Wow. Yeah.
As a result of a tragedy, there was a young little boy in the city of Duluth who unfortunately had a kidney infection. And because in 1944, getting to health care inside of Atlanta took long period of time, somewhat like today.
Sure.
But unfortunately, the little boy passed away. And the community came together to rally and said, we need health care in our community. So in 1944, Joan Glancy Hospital was opened.
Right.
And from there, it really began what we call today Northside Hospital Gwinnett in Duluth. In 1984, the Lawrenceville campus opened.
Right.
And then in 2006, the Northside Hospital Duluth campus moved from the Joan Glancy location to its new location there on Howell Ferry.
So the hospital comes to Lawrenceville, 1984, and then what happens, Chuck? Like, do we have, what's the relationship, I guess, that the city's had with the hospital there?
Well, the relationship the city has had has been a good one over the years with Northside, with actually Gwinnett Medical first and then now Northside. It obviously brings the health care that our community needs. With the city of Lawrenceville being the county seat, it's very important to have all of those services as a county seat available to not only residents of the city of Lawrenceville, but all of Gwinnett County. We have the state-of-the-art facility today that's continuing to expand that I know we'll talk about a little bit later. But the relationship over the years has only grown stronger with the hospital system here in Lawrenceville.
I would imagine a lot of people are coming into Lawrenceville for the hospital, and not only just to get the care that they need, but also to work there. And so I'm guessing that affects the residents and the base that is there.
It does, and so I think it's a twofold benefit to the city and also Gwinnett County. It serves as a service to healthcare and the needs that are there. Also provides a major job generator to not only the city but all of Gwinnett County.
Jay, tell us a little bit about the transition when we kind of moved from Gwinnett Medical Center to Northside. This happened pretty recently.
We actually merged in August of 2019, so we just celebrated our third anniversary.
Well, congratulations
of the merger. I will share that the merger activity actually began probably in 2012, 2013.
That long ago.
We, in hospitals and healthcare systems, recognized that you really needed to reassess how you deliver care. And we had, as a part of the Gwinnett system, recognized that we needed a partner so that we could continue to provide the services we needed to do, not only in Lawrenceville, but also within Gwinnett County, and for those that actually come into Gwinnett County for care in the areas that surround Gwinnett County. So through the leadership of our board, as well as administration, we began the process of vetting partners, and through an exhaustive exercise, if you will, we knew immediately on that it was Northside. Northside, not only from a geographic standpoint, having the main campus at Sandy Springs, they had expanded up 400 with the facility there in Cumming, and then further up into Cherokee. recognizing that if coming up 85, this enabled us to have the northern arch, if you will, by merging Gwinnett and with Northside. But also from a services perspective, Northside is famous for women's services. Most of the babies that are born in the metro Atlanta area are born at Northside.
Yeah.
But also Northside was the first non-academic recognized National Cancer Institute site, the work that we've done around oncology. Northside recognized what Gwinnett Medical Center and Gwinnett Health System brought to the table around cardiovascular, as well as around orthopedics. And so when you looked at a blending of services, a blending of geography, it really made sense. And I commend our board at the time, as well as leadership, as well as Northside, to bring that together so that we could continue to enhance services, which you're seeing today, not only in bricks and mortar through the expansion, but also in the addition of services.
What are some of the claims to fame for the hospital and the benefits that folks really have now that you've become Northside?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think our claim to fame was an attractive element for Northside is that we were awarded through the Certificate of Need process to have an open heart program. We were the largest county in the nation that did not have an open heart program. And so the City of Lawrenceville was instrumental in helping us work with the state to get that designation. And it really benefited citizens in Gwinnett County to not have to leave the county for that type of care. Especially as we all know with challenges to have to get downtown at times. And so not only from our heart and vascular program has been further enhanced, we've actually, as a part of the merger, we added 21 new cardiologists to complement already our strong cardiologists we had in place. We've just hired 2 new thoracic surgeons who actually started October 1. And so the attractiveness of Northside is it has enabled us to attract physicians who now want to be a part of this even more. We've grown in the neighborhood of over 400 additional physicians that have joined the medical staff across our system, but want to be a part of that, of what we're doing out here. I think the other thing I'll point out is the Level 2 Trauma Center in a county of over 1 million lives that we have here, being a American College of Surgeons designated Level 2 Trauma Center is a huge benefit for those of us in our community. But we're also a Level 3 NICU. We actually receive patients from outside the area when a baby who may need that neonatal intensive care unit. But also, I think I have to point out that not everything's happening there at our hospitals. We're expanding in the county from the standpoint of new ambulatory centers, new physician practices, new medical office buildings. And so the benefit, again, of being part of the Northside hospital system is that the City of Lawrenceville, as well as, frankly, all of Gwinnett County, are going to see an enhancement of services for everything from primary care all the way up to cardiothoracic surgery and even neurosurgery.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. And as we get more and more people, we're going to need every bit of this and quickly. So the growth is exponential and now. With you guys doing everything. Maybe walk us back through that open heart designation and how the city kind of helped with that, Chuck.
So I was not at the city when the hospital received that designation. I was a part of Gwinnett County at the time and was part of the community. It was a community effort. Obviously, the City of Lawrenceville was heavily involved. But as Jay had indicated, it was something that the community really wanted to get behind, and it was a community effort. These certificate of needs takes a lot of support from the community. It goes through a large process of a public comment, and that's very important. And I remember the community as a whole rallying behind Gwinnett Medical and Northside at the time to make that happen.
Yeah, that's just amazing. I mean, we need that because, just think of where you would have to go if we didn't have that in Gwinnett and in Lawrenceville. I mean, you would have to drive probably into Atlanta, and our citizens deserve better. I think we need this. We needed that. So
well, even beyond the open heart surgery center, you pick up the paper every day and you see this hospital is closing, whether it's in a rural area or the recent one in downtown Atlanta. And it's great for our community to see that we've got a strong healthcare partner here in our community.
Right.
Not only are they not struggling financially, they are looking to expand services. They are looking to provide more healthcare services to our community, and that's a great place to be in when people begin to look to move to live in the area. If they look to bring their business to the community, they're looking for services, strong medical facilities like we have here with our partner in Northside, and to make that happen.
That's just awesome. Jay, how did you get to the hospital? When did that happen? Where did you grow up? I mean, how did you end up at Northside?
Well, I am a product of Georgia. I grew up in Middle Georgia.
All right.
From Perry, and I jokingly say that I got into healthcare. I was a trust officer with, now it's Truist, and I'm going to tell my age. It was Trust Company when I was a trust officer.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I had my first bank bunk from Trust Company Bank.
Yeah. And but I had a blind date with a physical therapist, and that's what got me into healthcare. And through a progression of career moves, I was up in Dalton, Georgia, and the phone rang.
Okay.
And it was an opportunity to be a part of the Gwinnett system, and actually came to Duluth first as the assistant administrator, and was there for about 9 months, and they sent me to the big house, as we call it, there in Lawrenceville, to be a part of the Open Heart program. But also we were building the new North Tower that will become known as the Central Tower, which I know we'll talk about in a moment.
Yeah.
So it's been a fantastic career opportunity for me coming in 2008 and being a part of the team, and I was very fortunate and very thankful that with the merger I was asked to stay and be a part of the Northside team. And I tell everyone that I learn something new every day, and really learn how to make it better than what I did yesterday.
There you go.
It's a phenomenal organization that not only from the standpoints of being financially solvent, but also as people look to Northside not only for their needs, be it from the birth of a child to the passing of a saint and everything in between, but also from the standpoint of an economic engine of employment, but also what having a strong health system in your neighborhood, if you will, what does that also attract? So we are very strongly committed not only to the City of Lawrenceville, but also to the Chamber, because we recognize how important it is to be a partner.
Yeah, so true. Well, we can hear them building the tower from here. If you guys hear a few bounces and noises and everything like that, just think it's the construction of the new North Side Towers. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Chuck, you want to kick us off maybe?
Yeah, so the expansion, I'll let Jay get into the details of it, but it's going to be another great addition to the transforming of the economy in the city of Lawrenceville. Over the next several years, the new tower coming on board, and also the medical office building, again, bringing new jobs to the community, providing more services and medical services to our community. Just a great win-win for our community, and really glad that Northside chose Lawrenceville to do their large expansion there.
Maybe give us some of the details of what all is going into the expansion. Folks can see the construction happening, and maybe give us the picture of what all is going in right now at Northside.
Happy to do that. I'll say that the need for the tower really comes from, again, the benefit of Gwinnett County. With continued population growth, we recognized that we needed more inpatient beds to support not only our heart and vascular program, but also neurosurgery, and frankly, just basic medical care needs.
Sure.
So the goal is we will go ahead and build a 17-story tower.
Wow.
They are located in Lawrenceville. We jokingly say that we want the folks in Sandy Springs to see the new tower out in Lawrenceville. But we're excited. Obviously, we will not occupy all 17 stories on day one. Our goal is to build inside all 10 stories, and then over the next few years we'll add floors as we work through not only the regulatory process, but also making sure engaging that we're meeting the needs that we have. But eventually it will be fully occupied as a 17-story. One of the key things that we'll be doing is having a new cafeteria and kitchen with the new patio that will be there as an oasis, if you will, for our employees, but also for visitors and families if they need a break. And then there'll be some other, a new lobby that will enable folks to, as they enter this enter the front door, the new front door, the new North Tower. And so we're excited that we are not only adding square footage, but we're further enhancements of some of the things we already have, as I mentioned, the cafeteria and the lobby, but also just from the standpoint the patient rooms will be a little bit larger. We'll have guest retreats, if you will, family waiting, that will also be a little bit larger and be able to accommodate folks that we need to do there. It'll be connected to, as Chuck mentioned, the new medical office building. That'll be a 4-story office building that will have everything from cardiology to heart surgeons will be in there. We'll also have our general surgeons will be in there, because we're also going to relocate our ambulatory outpatient ORs, the 7 ORs that we built back in the 80s. We'll be relocating them to this new medical office building, along with imaging capabilities as well. And then attached to that will be an 1,800 space parking deck that we'll be adding to the campus. And so we're very excited to be able, and would not have been able to do that without the support of Chuck and Mayor Steele and all of council, and frankly all the City of Lawrenceville. You may have seen already that working with the Department of Transportation, we're going to have a slip lane that actually off of 316 that will bring you straight into the hospital campus.
Oh, that's great.
So that strong partnership with Chuck and his team has enabled us to, again, the ease of entry, if you will, physically into the campus, but also by adding a new parking deck. It'll all be connected to the new tower, which will be connected to the other legacy towers, if you will.
Wow, that's fantastic. Slip ramp, wow, what a great idea that is.
Well, I'd love to take credit for it, but I think it's Mr. Warbington's idea.
Was it your idea, Chuck?
It actually was.
Wow, it's a great idea. I mean, because traffic, and when you're coming into the hospital, and you've got your different entry points, but most people are coming off of 316 right there. So
this was a part of an improvement to the entire corridor that we were working with the state DOT and also Gwinnett County DOT. And one of the issues that we saw with the overall project was a merging effect, where folks were merging coming off of Duluth Highway and also 316.
Right.
So the city decided to pull that project out of the state DOT project and fund it ourselves. It's a 100% funded city project.
Oh, that's very cool.
So the slip ramp, so as you approach 316 towards Athens, get off of the exit ramp there. If you get in the far right lane, you will go directly into the hospital. You don't even have to stop.
As you
come off 316. So ambulances, or if you were needing to go yourself. Also, there is a separate that will be separated by a median, and then that will eliminate the merging traffic with folks that will be coming from the Duluth area. They will have an entrance that will go parallel to that as well. So we eliminated that merging piece.
Sure.
It's a $1.6 million project, but I think it really is going to be a traffic enhancement project.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that. I mean, that's brilliant. That's really going to make it easy for families to find and access the hospital, instead of having to just get off and try to figure out which entry and where you're headed and where you need to be. Also, the parking deck, and having all of the parking there. You don't have any worry about spaces or which lot that you need to be in. And 17 stories high. Now, how high is the hospital that's there now?
So the North Tower, as we call it today, is actually, there's 8 stories for patient care, then a 9th floor for storage. I don't know the exact height measurements.
So this sucker is going to be...
Well, it will be the tallest building in Gwinnett County.
Oh, my goodness. That's amazing.
The
tallest building in Gwinnett County.
Yeah, the tallest building currently is the Sonesta at Pleasant Hill Road.
Okay,
the
all
hotel there. So this will exceed that.
Yeah. Wow. And this one you will be able to see, because the Sonesta is kind of hidden in a hole back there off Pleasant Hill. So.
It certainly will make a statement.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think it'll be some great views of obviously all of Gwinnett County and Stone Mountain, as well as City of Atlanta as well, from that area.
Wow, that's going to be fantastic.
You may even see it from space.
You might. Sure. You never. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty big. It's pretty big.
One aspect of that as well, once all of the floors are built out and all the beds there, from what we have heard, it will have the campus of Northside Gwinnett will have the largest amount of beds, hospital beds in the state of Georgia, all in one campus.
Exactly.
Wow.
We'll be close to 1,000 beds once we're completed.
Unbelievable.
It is.
Man, this is a major upgrade that we're talking about here for all of Gwinnett County, really. I mean, this is the top-notch medical facility in the region, I would imagine.
I would echo that.
Yeah.
I would agree. And I'll just say for folks who are somewhat concerned about the merger and are we losing our hospital? Are we losing
Sure.
Because of the name change and all of that? The hospital and our leadership is very clear. This hospital system, Northside Hospital Gwinnett and Duluth, part of Northside Hospital Inc., is fully committed to Gwinnett County. And I think you're seeing that again,
Sure.
not only in the bricks and mortar, but what we've done on the services enhancements and new employees. And so it is still the hospital for Gwinnett. It really is. And particularly
Absolutely.
our relationship with the City of Lawrenceville has made us been able to do that.
The merger really ensures the hospital can continue to care for Gwinnett. It's growing so exponentially and so fast.
Absolutely.
If you look at 10 years ago, or you look back to 2008 when you first kind of came on, I mean, the picture between when you probably started at Northside, at Gwinnett, to today, I mean, it's boomed even from that point.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
It's literally gone from one extreme to the other, if you will, which is great. I mean, we see we have about 4,200 deliveries a year at the Lawrenceville campus, and we anticipate that growing because we're also looking at our women's pavilion and the women's services, what to do to enhance that. From a trauma perspective, we have about 2,300 trauma cases a year, and so it really is the tertiary campus, and that was the commitment by Northside, recognizing where it sits geographically. The other hospitals within our system will feed the Lawrenceville campus, particularly around heart and vascular, not just open heart cases, but we continue to invest not only in technology but in people around cases that are outside of open heart. If you look at TAVRs, if you look at PCI, if you look at any structural heart case, we're continuing to grow that as well. And so it really is an opportunity for the citizens of Gwinnett County, Lawrenceville, to benefit from Northside Hospital's commitment to this area.
Yeah. If people are seeking out or needing a specific kind of care, it's more likely today that they'll be able to come to Northside and come to the new campus and receive their treatment there, which is fantastic.
You said it well, Nathan. Debbie Mitchum, who is our president and CEO for Northside Hospital Gwinnett and Duluth, is very clear. The citizens of Gwinnett County should not have to leave the county for care. The only thing we will not be doing is transplants. And
there you
so
go.
for anything other than that, we anticipate having those services and mainly centered there at Lawrenceville.
Wow, that's amazing. So we also want to attract as many doctors and as many brilliant minds, medical minds, into the hospital system and into Lawrenceville. And Lawrenceville is also probably prepping for some of that. You guys have got all kinds of residential projects going on, but Lawrenceville is also a great place to live. And for that medical community, it's right there. So you've got everything that you would probably want in a lifestyle, which would be very appealing to doctors, I believe.
Well, I'll jump in and Chuck can fill in the gaps. We have a recruitment team, and one of the key things we do is we take them to dinner in downtown Lawrenceville.
Right.
We show them what's happening in downtown Lawrenceville, not only from people see not only the growth there at the hospital, but they see the excitement of what's happening in downtown Lawrenceville. And so that's a drawing card. And we, physicians who may be young, new in their career, they're excited about the type of living that's offered in downtown Lawrenceville, but then also those with families are looking at a lot of the development that has occurred there as well. And so Lawrenceville for us is a huge drawing card and helps us really close the deal at times for our physician recruits that we're bringing into the community.
I mean, I would imagine there's not many communities like it that has, both Broadway style musicals that they can come and enjoy, great places and great restaurants to eat, but also on the workforce development component with the college being right there in the city and a lot of nurses and everybody able to come in and train up exactly what the hospital needs. I mean, it's like a great trifecta going on right there.
You make a great point. I think that's what I love about my job as a city manager is being able to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. We knew that Gwinnett Medical Center Northside was going to be expanding, and so a lot of the positive changes that you're seeing here is specifically related to that. Georgia Gwinnett College is expanding as well. So when you look at your larger employers and they are determined to do expansion in your community, they do want to live there. They want to be entertained there. They want to work closer to those areas. And so part of our 5-year, 10-year plan is to create those opportunities where folks don't have to live in Johns Creek to work at Northside or other areas of the Gwinnett County. We want them to live in the city of Lawrenceville. Gets them close to where they work, and then they can take care of all the opportunities for restaurants and the performing arts as well. And so putting all of these pieces together has been very intentional for the city of Lawrenceville. It's a vision of the mayor and council that then the city implements, and we have a lot more pieces of the puzzle to come, but it's with great partners like Northside that continue to invest in our community, hundreds of millions of dollars that continue to spur on the quality redevelopment for that matter, that you're seeing in the downtown Lawrenceville.
Yeah, a lot of synergy in this relationship. We love that, and how it all works and ebbs and flows together. It is a beautiful relationship. I think that, as somebody who's from Gwinnett and born in Lawrenceville, understands to see it growing with the city and with the county is a very good sign that it is as welcoming as it can be to all of the new folks coming into Gwinnett and coming into the city, and having something there for everybody, not only from the medical component side and where you can go to get your treatment, but also the enormous workforce that really is in the hospital. I mean, you guys are going to need a lot of people to fill 17 floors of this bad boy.
Well, that's why we work closely with, I was actually on a call Friday with Georgia Gwinnett, and I'm fortunate to serve on the foundation board there, and Dr. Jan Joseph and her vision is aligned with the city of Lawrenceville's as well as our vision, and also with Gwinnett Technical College. With strong partnership there as well. And I would even say, though, we're actually now talking, we're very pleased to have a strong relationship with Dr. Calvin Watts in the Gwinnett County Public School System, and as well as the private schools in our community, to really start talking to early middle schoolers about what would be exciting about working in healthcare. So.
Yeah, I think that's it is every student that goes to school wants to know that when they graduate, there's a job waiting for them, and having a direct path or a job placement rate like the technical college system might do with the hospital is pretty profound. To know that you can get educated locally and have a job waiting on you and a demand for that job, which I think should ease a lot of parents' minds, at least, right?
Right.
When you think about partnerships, I want to go back to just pulling the curtain back to show the relationship between the city and Northside. I think obviously the pandemic and COVID really showed how important our healthcare system is to our not only our community but our nation as a whole.
Amen to that.
But when we began to make decisions at a city level, or even frankly working with Gwinnett County to make decisions whether you mandate masks or whether you close businesses and things like that because of the pandemic, there were weekly, sometimes daily discussions we were having with the hospital. We wanted to know, what is the hospital situation? What are the bed situations standpoint? And then if they needed to add extra beds and have permits related to that, to making sure that we got out of the way to allow them to do that. So those were pulling the curtain back to see those relationships that we have with the hospital are very, very important, because those decisions we were making during that time were directly related to the status of the hospital and the information we were getting from the hospital system.
Chuck, thanks for bringing that up. And I will say that, COVID, we're still dealing with COVID to some degree, but more so the aftermath of it. A lot of our healthcare workers are tired from having to go through that, and not only in the hospital, but also the first responders. But having a relationship not only with Chuck personally, I consider ourselves, we're friends. We were talking daily, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day, but also, as Chuck pointed out, even with the county, I said, Chuck, I've got to bring in modular units. I've got to bring in 80 beds. Chuck's like, just tell me what I need to do. And without a blink of an eye, that partnership enabled us, and frankly, the relationship enabled us to work through that and do it quickly, because we knew and we have seen historically the hospital since 1984 has had a lot of capacity issues, just because as the county grew, we needed to try to keep up with that. But during COVID, having that strong relationship enabled us to make sure that there was not a blip in the care of our citizens here.
Yeah, absolutely. What a time that we all did just go through with, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic and everything. And seeing the community come together were some of the greatest stories that I feel like that we've gotten to tell, especially like I just remember back during that time, the folks at Universal Joint in Lawrenceville taking lunches over to the hospital, and other restaurants, many other restaurants. I personally got to film Bruce at Universal Joint doing that, and Carlos at La Quazela doing that, and it's probably every Lawrenceville restaurant was a part of that, just running lunches over to the hospital to make sure that our first responders and everybody was cared for. Seeing everybody kind of come together in the city is what reminds me that even though we do have 1 million people in Gwinnett, we're still relatively a small town community with that love and compassion for one another. And I think if you just look at it from the outside looking in, sometimes you can miss that. But in moments like that where the community really does need to rely on one another, I felt very proud to be in Lawrenceville and Gwinnett. So
absolutely
amazing stuff.
You said it well. I'll never forget people coming out to the hospital with signs and balloons, and our staff seeing that. It just reassured them that they're part of a community.
Yeah. I remember old Raymer Sale over there, Red, Blue, and You, going out and lining up all of the police cars and the first responder cars and holding up the signs, and I got to film a couple of those events in those days. Hopefully never have to go through anything like that again. But it was nice to see our community really pull together in a time where a lot of communities just weren't able to do that, and so it was good to feel at home during that time, even though it was something we don't want to go through again.
Right.
With the brand new buildings going up, more staff coming in. More opportunities for people in Lawrenceville to get the care they needed, more jobs coming into the area. I think the future looks pretty bright for Lawrenceville. Is there anything else the future might bring that you guys want to discuss with this relationship?
One other one I would mention, because I think a lot of the public sees traffic in the area, and we mentioned the slip ramp, and that project's currently under construction as we speak. But I will also mention that the state DOT and Gwinnett DOT is doing a median project that will correct a lot of the traffic flow and add capacity from 316 all the way to Hurricane Shoals Road as well, adding additional turn lanes there as well. So that project will be starting in the next couple of months, and so that will add help for the traffic congestion that we're currently seeing there, and then also through the expansion. And one other project that we're going to be continuing to work with Gwinnett DOT and the state DOT is the possible replacement of the bridge over 316. And that's a longer range project but there's already discussions that are happening to determine what that needs to look like, how many lanes. It'll be a total replacement of that bridge, and it's going to be needed as the city and the hospital continues to grow.
Yeah. Traffic always a concern. Sounds like you guys are wrapping your minds around that one and already putting some work in place to make sure that is taken care of, and just a lot of progress to happen. Jay, what's some of the other things that you guys are doing as you continue to grow? Because I mean, you guys are expansive in that area.
One of the first projects we actually did was an expansion of our emergency department. So on that side of the campus, we've recognized that we are going to need to continue to upgrade facilities, some of our older medical office buildings that are on campus, but then frankly, probably adding additional medical office buildings that would be able to support folks' needs on the ambulatory side. And so as we look at that, we also recognize we've got to have additional parking. And so we just are excited not only for where we have come from and where we are, but yet the best is yet to come.
Yeah,
we're
well
excited
said.
about that.
Well said. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out and sharing everything that's going on with the construction. If you guys heard a little construction noises, it's just the towers being built, man. Thank you guys so much for being here. This has been a fun episode of Lawrenceville Bicentennial Podcast. Guys, make sure that you subscribe to the show, that you share with your friends, and especially if they have concerns or they want to know what is going on with all this construction in Lawrenceville, you can share this episode with them and know that it is all for their betterment. And things are looking bright in the city of Lawrenceville. You guys have a good one.